This video is brought to you by America First Insight. Help support the growing conservative movement by becoming a member today. And if you want to support this channel, you can also use the code REAL when becoming a member. Thank you and enjoy the video. As everyone knows, the last couple of weeks, President Trump's approval has gone down by a couple points. Now, I know it is rebounding. I mean, right now, according to the RCP average, it is going back up slowly but surely. But for the last couple of weeks, Trump's approval has gone down, especially compared to the middle of January, the early half of February. It has gone down. Anyone saying otherwise, they're not telling the truth. But at the same time, it hasn't gone down by 15, 20 points like Democrats were claiming. I mean, guys, remember, some polls really claim that, oh, his approval went down by 30 points overnight. No, that's not true. All the good polls have him down, yeah, by like 4 to 5 points, if that at this point, but not by 20. The point is, though, Trump's approval has gone down, which seems kind of crazy because you look at everything he has done so far, you would think, wait, people should love this. This is exactly what they voted for. It's extremely popular policy positions, like the transgender stuff. Guys, remember back in February, Trump signed that executive order, and for whatever reason, Democrats thought, oh yeah, that's the hill to die on. Even though every single poll found 80% of Americans, including a bunch of Democrats, supported what Trump did. It was politically stupid, but that's the Democrat Party. So you would think with everything going on, his approval would be like 55, 60%, or something crazy like that, but it isn't. Which, again, it sounds weird on paper. His executive orders he signs, they pull this every time. It's like 60% of Americans every single time support that executive order. Even Democrat pollsters, they're admitting that what he does is popular. But yet his approval is right now, let's just say 50-50. Why is that? Well, I would argue it's because there are still some major issues that Trump is dealing with right now that people are skeptical about. They are skeptical about some major issues, and that's why I believe that his approval before today, it was kind of iffy. It wasn't bad, by the way. I'm not saying that his approval is terrible. In fact, compared to the Democrat Party, his approval is fantastic. Trump right now is at 50-50, which again, that's not perfect, but the Democrat Party right now, they're lucky to crack like 25%. The vast majority of their polls right now have them at like 21, 23%. And there's a chance with all the information coming out about Biden, that could sink even lower. So they might be lucky to crack 21% in a couple weeks. So yeah, Trump's approval compared to Democrats is fantastic. Right now, he's the most popular politician in America. And there's a chance with everything going on, this approval could skyrocket. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but in the next couple of weeks, if everything goes to plan, we could really see his approval go back up to like 55%. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen. But the reason I say that is, well, there's a lot of things that could happen the next couple of weeks. For starters, there's a good chance that we finally get a deal done in Ukraine, like an end to the war. I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but earlier today, President Trump spoke with President Putin, and they spoke for 2 hours long, and apparently it went great. President Putin said, yeah, it went great. President Trump earlier today said, just completed my 2-hour call with President Vladimir Putin of Russia. I believe it went very well. Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations towards a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. The conditions for that will be negotiated between the two parties, as it can only be, because they know the details of a negotiation that nobody else would be aware of. Yeah, that's what Trump announced today. He is saying, we had a great conversation, and starting now, Russia and Ukraine will have negotiations. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what deals going to be reached. We don't know anything. But it does sound like at the bare minimum, both sides are finally working towards some kind of conclusion. This war should have never happened. If President Trump won in 2020, this war would have never happened. But right now, it sounds like both sides are beginning to talk, like serious discussions. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know who's going to get what. And we don't know how long this is going to take. But it does sound like we're finally getting somewhere. It's not just, oh, we're not going to get anything done for 5 months, which it's entirely possible we don't get a deal done till, like, I don't know, next year maybe. But with everything that Trump is saying, and even President Putin and even Zelensky, it sounds like the war is getting closer to finally ending. And this is a big deal because Trump's approval, you could argue, is being hindered by stuff like the war in Russia. People want the war in Ukraine to end. They don't want the war to continue for another 5 years and we send Ukraine $500 billion. No, the people want the war to end now. And as of now, the war is still going on in Ukraine. And I really believe that's why Trump's approval has gone down. Even just part of the reason. It's because people want the wars to stop. They're saying, this is stupid. These wars got to end. And they voted for Trump to end the war. And I believe if the war does end in the next couple of months, Trump's approval more than likely would see some kind of a bump. Not by 50 points or whatever, but, you know, maybe 5 or 6 points, maybe a bit more. I mean, just last month, Quantus Insights, a very good pollster, they conducted a national survey that found Trump's approval with the war in Ukraine being at 45% approve and 51% disapprove. Okay, that's not that bad, but compared to his overall job approval, it is down by like 2 to 3 points. The same poll had Trump's approval at 48% approve and 50% disapprove. So roughly 2 to 3 points worse than his overall job approval. But in the same poll, they found that 63% of voters would say Trump would bear some blame if the war continues. But if peace is achieved, 67% says he deserves credit. At least some kind of credit. Yeah. So this poll, again, from just a month ago, not even a month ago, like 4 weeks ago, they found that Trump's approval is below water, even a bit worse with the war in Ukraine. But at the same time, 67% of voters would say if peace is achieved, Trump deserves some credit. 67%. That's not a small majority. That's a clear supermajority of voters saying, yeah, we will give Trump credit if he ends the war in Ukraine. That's a big deal. In my opinion, this kind of proves what I'm saying. A big reason why Trump's approval has gone down a little bit is because people are skeptical and worried about the war in Ukraine. They're saying, we voted for this war to end, and right now it's still going on. But if Trump can end the war in the next couple of months, his job approval more than likely would go up. Now, again, this doesn't mean it's going to go up by 30 points, but at the bare minimum, I really believe it would do just enough to get Trump above water, you know, at like +3, +4, maybe like +6. Because the war in Ukraine, everyone agrees it's a mess, it's got to end. And Trump's done a lot of good things with it, but people want the war to end. They don't want the war to escalate. They're saying, we want the war to end, and President Trump, he has to end the war. So Trump's approval, I do think will go up, especially with this news that, yeah, they're actually talking, which is the first time in a while that they're having real negotiations, and there's a good chance they're going to actually end. And this is a big reason that Trump's approval is, you're going to probably see a trend upwards, especially if we see serious movement between Ukraine and Russia. But in my opinion, I don't think this is the number one reason why his approval has gone down. It's part of it. People want the war to end. But in my opinion, the number one reason why his approval has gone down is, of course, the economy. Everyone is skeptical. People are worried about the state of the economy. Will it get better? Will it get worse? And for months now, the Democrat Party and the mainstream media, they were claiming that Trump's such a bad president that he's going to cause a Great Depression 2.0. Worse than the Great Depression. 80% inflation. You can't get a job. Even though right now, all the metrics are indicating that Trump's doing a good job, for months now, the Democrat Party and the mainstream media, they are banking on the economy sucking. And the people saying, yeah, the economy sucks. That's what they were banking on. And it's been working for the last couple months, even though by all metrics, it's gotten better, even inflation. Democrats were successful in making people think, oh, you know, we have to be skeptical about the economy. We don't know how it's going to be in a couple months. Things are getting worse. Well, Harvard Harris, a solid pollster, dropped an absolute bombshell just a little while ago. As for the first time since July of 2021, more people think the US economy is strong than it is weak. Yeah, a majority of voters, 51%, a small majority, but it's a majority. A majority of voters are saying, yeah, the economy is strong for the first time since July of 2021. Just look at the swing from April. Back in April, just a month ago, it was -8. You had 54% of people said the economy was weak, 46% said it was strong. Now it's +2. So in the span of just 1 month, it has swung like 10 to 11 points towards people saying, yes, the economy is strong. That's even with all the mainstream media outlets saying the economy is crashing, we have 80% inflation. It turns out people have hope in the economy. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect, far from it. We still have a lot of issues to deal with, like inflation, but at the bare minimum, it seems like the average voter is starting to say, the economy ain't perfect. There's still a lot of stuff to deal with, but it's getting better. It's trending upwards. We're getting a lot of good news with the stock market. I mean, that was the big issue. Oh, Trump crashed the stock market by 80%. That's what they were claiming. But no, the stock market went down for a couple of weeks, but now it's back up. And the trade deals are getting closer to being done. The jobs market is looking great. Again, it's going to take a while to fix it fully, but people have confidence. They're saying, okay, things are looking good. We'll see what happens the next couple of months. It will fluctuate more than likely, but if this number skyrockets in 2026, where it's like 60 to 65% said, yeah, the economy is strong, Dems are in a lot of trouble. And Trump's approval more than likely would go way up. Because this is the one thing holding him back. It's the economy. That's the number one issue. Yet it seems like it's slowly but surely getting better. And people are saying, we like this. This is what we voted for. Things are getting better. It's not perfect, but it's a start. And if this happens, his approval could unironically crack like 55%. Maybe in a best case scenario, if the economy really booms like it did in 2018 and 2019, maybe it cracks 60%. That's like best case scenario. But we're to a point now where he's popular on immigration, becoming more popular in foreign policy. Everything he does is popular. He's well liked now. Not like 2017 where, yeah, what he was doing was liked by a lot of people, but people didn't like Trump back then. They were saying, we agree with what he does, but I don't like him. It's different now. People are saying, oh, we like Trump and we love what he's doing. And now the economy is booming. So it's a good sign for Trump that if he keeps this up, he could really crack some crazy approval, which, again, I am not saying that's for sure going to happen. I'm not. But the more you look at these numbers, the better it looks for Trump. And the crazy part is, his approval is going back up. Just a little while ago, Morning Consult, which is a very Democrat pollster, anytime they conduct a poll, it's basically they overstate Democrats by like 5 to 6 points or whatever. They found Trump's job approval the highest since mid-March. Right now, it's only -2. And in just 1 month, it has swung like 5 to 6 points towards Trump. So even the shitty Morning Consults in the world, they're finding Trump's approval, it's going back up. It's not perfect, but it's rebounding. And that's what Trump needed. This is a sign that, okay, people are starting to trust him a bit more. People are starting to say, okay, we like what he's doing. It's a great start. Things are going in the right direction. But I think we'll know more by later this year. If this is real, if this is a fluke, we'll know by, say, I don't know, September, if this is a fluke or not. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.